Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Father's Day to all the pops out there. What's up, everybody? Happy Father's Day. Yan in the house, Mel in the house, Midwest in the house, June in the house. Look at you guys. Eddie, Johnny, Victor. Dude, you guys rock. Retweet if you can. Invite your friends. All are welcome. Appreciate you guys. PB and J, what is up? Man, I don't know what it is. Is there something about Mondays? I mean, do you guys feel this? Like Mondays, dude, I don't know what it is. Like the market gets really savage in the house. My dude. I love this name. If only people knew. If only people knew. My boy. Patrick in the house. Heather, what's up? Devin. Devin is a Grab fan. All right. Volk in the house. Happy Father's Day. Again, yeah, for sure. Happy Father's Day, guys. Eddie. Yeah, right. Get out of there. I like the green too, Mel. It's pretty lit. Actually lit. Fifth Elemental. What is up? What is up? Appreciate you guys. Man, I mean, today I'm doing this thumbnails. I sometimes I'll recycle them, not gonna lie. I do one of my favorite ones is like the J Pow and the raft. Because we're surfing the chop, man. Surfing the absolute epic chop. Useless in the house. What is up? Matt G, Trader's Bait. Look at you guys. JS24. Senor Yoda. You guys still coming in. Coming in. LL. I love it. Fam. Modal. You did panic. Yeah. I mean, you know what? It makes sense. We are still. Have you guys been seeing these headlines on the recap? So if you're new here, by the way, what we do here every Monday is we kind of go over what's going on, what's I'd like to say what the recap is for the week, but it's really like Thursday, Friday, over the weekend, and now today, Monday. And it's just been this absolute insane whipsaw of a market at the highs, no less. But and individual stocks themselves, they also kind of go through the same kind of whipsaw. But it's to be fair, it's actually pretty tight chop. And it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. This is not the first time the market's gone through this either. So, let me just kind of roll the tape a little bit back right now. We have come off of the trade war, let's say, Liberation Day or Liquidation Day, whatever you want to call it, has come and since gone. And most investors remember that as like peak fear. The moment that Trump held up his big giant cardboard sign, it was like, holy crap, right? And the market goes into peak panic mode. And that following, I think it was Monday, ends up locking in pretty much the absolute lows of what investors and traders, in that moment, it is literally like peak panic. That ends up being what people will call, for me, my, I don't know, third or fourth of maybe 10 generational buys that I might see, which I laugh off as a obvious millennial. I say obvious as a millennial. I've seen multiple generational buys, which maybe I'll see more. Who knows? And it's just another one. And we actually V recovery, which I was, fairly not expecting this type of V recovery. And as we get to the highs again, here we are, right? Here we are as the market's climbing what we call the wall of worry, if you will. And just as we begin to set back in our comfortable chairs of complacency, sure enough, you get a little comfortable. The market likes to keep you on your toes. And if you're me personally, actually, not, claiming ignorance here. I don't know what's going on. I'm not in the weeds here, and global turmoil of any flavor is no laughing matter. But to claim ignorance, initially my first reaction is like, isn't this always happening? And I get a very immediate reminder. Well, or first of all, immediate slap is like, actually, no, this is legitimately different. And no, it's anytime it's happening, it's not laughing matter. Like this actually really affects us. It affects us all personally on a very real level. So no, it's not any kind of laughing matter. As a trader, though, you guys have to remember, my job is to make money in the market. So as we go through this today, respectfully, any kind of jokes around like our job is to make money in the market. It is a very serious situation here that we're dealing with. So it needs to be treated respectfully. And it's a very real scenario. So we need to tread carefully also. So I appreciate that, and no kind of dark humor or anything like that if you can avoid that. But that said, there's still money to be made. There are some stocks that will be reacting here that may not be actually affected. I'm not one to go try and short anything, or even necessarily go long anything that's going to be a temporary condition. I will look for maybe opportunities personally, that that uh, that might be overblown. I think that's how we should react to that, or should look for potential opportunities. But at the end of the day, I am a trader. We are investors, and our job is first and foremost to make money in the market. So once again, we must continue, and we must go out and do our jobs. So appreciate everybody here. Analyzer in the house. Love you guys. And yeah, it's all good. But say, look, we're a big giant family. And at the end of the day, look, you guys, we got to support each other no matter what. And we never know who's affected here. So prayers out to everybody. Again, it's always a grim situation here. So I hope everybody's okay out there. And again, best wishes to Father's Day. I'm sorry, Scotty, you really had a shot there on the PGA US Open. It was a wild one. I don't know if anybody saw that golf tournament. I'm not a big golfer, but my God, what a whipsaw tournament that thing was too. So, and by the way, if you're not in the server, I did put a link. We opened up a free section. Have at it. Come on in. We threw some value out there too. So I opened up some channels. You guys can get some free sauce in the server. If you're not there, I don't know what you're doing anyways. But yeah. Jump in, man. You're all welcome. So, anyways, let's get to this, right? We got some work to do, boys and girls. We got some serious work to do for sure. FOMC this week. I think it's FOMC. I don't know. We'll have to check the calendar. I'm pretty sure. But definitely global turmoil, no question. And what a whipsaw. So we came into the week last week, and again, coasting, sitting on our laurels, getting comfortable in our complacency, and boom, lo and behold, right? What happens? So Thursday, we're actually at what we call like our non-farm payroll highs. And wait, look at this guy. I know this guy. What happened to the free chat gang? I mean, is it not there? It should be there. If not, go verify. Once we opened it, we had to add some extra security precautions because we don't want any scammers or whatever out there. It's a little shady sometimes when you open up some free stuff. So make sure you guys verify there. Was it Wednesday, Patrick? Wednesday. Savage and Patrick for sure. Forced also Yelp for Scotty. Yeah, I don't know. So Wednesday, we're actually at our technical high to the penny, and we're not quite pushing over. Lo and behold, technicals. I don't know what it is. I don't know. This is weird. We get a breaking news. Missiles are in the air. It's wild, and knee jerk. We kind of pull back, and then I think it's like Thursday, Friday morning. Thursday, we come back down to the lows. We don't break the lows yet, though. We don't break the lows, I don't believe, on Thursday. And then Friday, we get these talks of like, okay, maybe it's all good. Maybe it's all good. Maybe nothing to worry about. And so immediately Friday morning, we're like, did Thursday night even happen? And then whoop, right back to the highs, right? Whoop, right back to the highs. And then, oh, maybe not so much. Wait. And then it's like midday Friday. You're like, I don't know if I want to go home over the weekend with all the risk on. And what do you think is going to happen? Boom, straight back to the lows. And so this is the chop. Boom, 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 boom. Has anything really happened though, from a stock perspective to the businesses just yet? No, it is still the wall of worry. So we are currently climbing the wall of worry. Is there serious real risk? Absolutely. There's always real risk, right? But at the end of the day, we're still climbing that wall of worry. So that's why you have no chart up. Yeah, I'm talking right now. This is just me yapping, right? And so this is the chop that we're dealing with. And so that's what we're talking about right now. So I'm just going off of memory. I that's literally just memory because I traded it, right? And so I'm just looking through headlines right now. And I'm like, okay, these are the headlines. Get this. In the last, I think, like 8 hours, and Netanyahu says, we are telling the citizens of Tehran, evacuate, and we are taking actions. UBS, markets overreacting to the Middle East in the 8 hours, right? And then, boom, Iran. And then, so we're taking action, telling everybody to evacuate. UBS, markets overreacting to the Middle East tensions. And then Iran seeking de-escalation. Everything's all good, right? And we're willing to resume nuclear talks. And then boom, Iran is ready to deliver a major blow to Israel. You're like, really? Yes, Patrick. Patrick speaks Jason. Sorry. And then Kalshi, if you don't know Kalshi, it's a Kalshi is a what do you call this? Event contracts market. The odds of a US Iran US, and this is why it's different. The odds of a US Iran nuclear deal rise to 44%. Nuclear deal rise to 44%. Okay. And then Trump's over here at the G7. Trump says deal with Canada achievable within. So off to the different headlines. Deal with Canada achievable within days or weeks. Okay. Trump at G7. Throwing Russia out of the G7 was a mistake. He also said, I'm a tariff guy. So I mean, this is where we are. It's one hell of a headline. Paul. Yeah. I think at the end of the day, no one really knows what's going on. And so where that leaves me as a trader is like, I have to lean on my technicals very heavily here because I am not going to be able to react. So I might get a headline, but by the time I read the headline, the move is going to happen so fast at the stock price level. I mean, it's going to be reactionary any way you slice it. So if you're an investor here, I don't think you do anything. I think you just understand there are risks out there. And if we look at what's going on, it's like knee jerk both ways. So when we look like it's all good right now, would I be surprised that if we close at the lows today? Honestly, no. Right? Like I wouldn't be surprised. Would I be surprised if we just continue to rip all week? I know, but I'm going to have certain points in the chart that are going to tell me when that's going to happen. And so I think here now you have to lean pretty heavily on that if you're going to be an active trader. If you're going to be a passive trader here, I think that you just kind of stay the course and maybe you get a pretty big opportunity later down the line, but any near-term opportunity is probably not going to be the opportunity that you're looking for. if this makes sense. Because if there's going to be a break in the market, what we saw Wednesday night, maybe Thursday, whatever, midweek last week, just off memory, Savages in the server. It's like it felt like, and I was looking at the charts. I'm like, if that's the dip, I was like, that's like a BB gun getting shot off in the market. That was not a dip. I'm just telling you right now, that was no dip. That was like, what was my analogy? It was like one of those salt guns that you shoot at a housefly. Like, it was a nothing burger dip. Like, if you want a dip to buy, it's 565 on SPY. It's a dip. It's back to the trade war zone type of dip. So that's what a good dip will look like. In between now and then, you kind of just stay the course, right? We shall see. Yeah. And hoodie throughout this whole thing, hoodie. And not only hoodie, you guys seen Palantir? This is the kind of situation that makes Palantir special. There are two special, very special stocks in the market right now. It's Palantir and hoodie, right? When we think about scenarios like this, you know, we say in the server or like in trading, I have what I refer to as a conflict cabinet, right? So you go back to your conflict cabinet. And so that's like a grouping of stocks. When you have global tensions, the conflict cabinet is something that you can typically expect to move to the upside. That is gold, oil, and defense, a cabinet of stocks. Gold, oil, and defense. Palantir is one of those special situations where like it is defense. It's defense. So like it fits in this defense category, but it also fits in this growth and AI category. So it's like, what? So yeah, it's crazy. So no, not surprised to see. I mean, it's just one of those crazy stocks. It's just a special situation. It's just a very special situation. So that said, we're past most of the earnings for now. I think we're heading into a short week for sure. We do want to check in on seasonality, so that is the next slide that we're going to look at, and we have a couple more things to get through. Oop, hello. So seasonality here, we're actually a little bit further on. Seasonality, I will say, I'm a little concerned this year. Normally, I would say, look, July, beginning of July, it would just be like, press the gas. Like, so this is July, last 100 years. It's like, press the gas. June, you don't really know. It could be choppy. Sometimes good, sometimes bad. Generally, it's pretty decent. But July, for the most part, it's good. Actually, and it's like really good. The thing is, like, seasonality this year has been thrown off from I think maybe because of the trade war. I mean, look at crypto for a second. Like, dude, the alt season should have come and gone by now, and it's like it's all wackadoo over there. So I think seasonality could, like, if you're trading off the calendar this year, it has been off, maybe even like a little delayed right now. So I don't know that you want to lean on seasonality so much, but you do want to have an idea of what's going on. It may be his case this year where we're ripping to the upside in September. So because of the trade war, we may be off a little bit. I just want to put that out there, just be a little cautionary. But generally speaking, we are here at the moment, right? And this is that wall of worry. So sometimes in wartime, it's just a moment where if we do get a bigger dip, it tends to be something to look for opportunity for later on down the road. Just as an aside, from an earnings perspective, but not right away. From an earnings perspective, look, this is dry. There's nothing out there. I didn't even look. Nope. Nothing. That is nothing except for maybe a censure that might be kind of somewhat maybe potentially interesting. But generally speaking, no, I'm not interested in any of that for sure. But that said, we do need to take a look at last week's calendar, just economics stuff, just to take a look at what happened. Consumer inflation came in. When you're looking at these calendars, by the way, and I was a little bit late to do this today, so we're going to look at a live calendar right now. When you're looking at these, and I'm just using tradingeconomics.com calendar, you look at the actual versus the consensus or the forecast, right? And so inflation expectations coming in slightly light on Monday. That's the only one there. Tuesday, really nothing. CPI comes in on Wednesday. That's actually super. So consensus 0.3 month over month, core coming in at 0.1, and then headline 0.1 on a consensus of 0.2. So that's like 50%. So no inflation. Well, we're having inflation, but not nearly as bad as we were expecting. It's putting the year over year at 2.4 versus an expectation 2.5. Let me just expand this really quick to look at how this monthly is tracking. Yeah, this is the half of last month with our low bar coming in at -1. Reason it's not gonna, we had 2 zeros that were dropping off. So the overall is still gonna be pretty flat because we're gonna be losing. So next month, unless we're flat for the next 2 months, we'd have to have a negative. What I'm looking at here is we would have to come in negative for the next 2 months for year over year CPI to go down. We would actually have to have negative CPI numbers for year over year to come down. That's a pretty big ask. So I think CPI is flat to down, or flat to up for the next 2 months based on that, actually. PPI month over month, also coming in half. So these are pretty good for now. Oh, 0.1. PPI should come down pretty heavy next month. Look at that 0.4 that we're going to lose on the year over year number. Jobless claims. So continuing claims. Oh, that's so 19.5. Initial claims 248. Let's just look at how this is tracking. It's not horrible. Consumer sentiment, no big deal. 60.5 though. And I mean, how can you not have that consumer sentiment? So next week, this is the big one. So what do we have? So tomorrow we have retail sales, 3 6 months. Oh, by the way, we had that 10-year bond auction, which was good last week. We have a 20-year bond auction in a little bit. So we had the 10-year bond auction midweek last week, I believe it was, which actually was the midweek pivot, the 10-year bond auction, which was good. To me, that was the pivot. This week, this is not on your calendars, and most people would miss this. So we have a 20-year bond auction here in a little bit. That's going to be a pivot. You guys know when you think about the bond spreads, they think the 2 and 10-year yield curve. They say the 2 and the 10, the 210 curve, 210 yield curve. That's right now. So we got the 10-year yield auction yield last week. You're about to get this one. This is the other bond auction that's important. So you're going to get this in a little bit. This is set to UTC 7. I think I'm UTC 8. Did that already happen? Somebody in the chat, let me know if this already happened. That may have happened already. Somebody in the chat, let me know. I might begin UTC 7. No, it didn't happen yet. So that's probably 30 minutes. And then tomorrow, yeah, that's probably 20 minutes from now. So careful if you're day trading. That's a pivot. Sorry, I got another screen over here. Okay. So, all right. So tomorrow, retail sales month over month. Probably not a big thing. Wednesday, building permits, housing stats, really nothing here. Continuing claims. I'm not seeing anything major. All right. FOMC Wednesday. So Wednesday FOMC. Today we have the 20-year in a little bit. So pencils down for day traders, please. Wednesday, Fed rate decision, FOMC day. That's a big one. FOMC day. Thursday, we are closed for Juneteenth. You thought it was over, right? Thursday, we're closed for Juneteenth. And then Friday, nothing except for Chicago board. We call this the misleading index. That's supposed to tell us. That's supposed to tell us when there's a recession coming. This thing has not worked forever. But that's it. So I'm done with that. 20-year bond auction, FOMC later, FOMC on Wednesday. Nothing really Tuesday. Yeah, that's it. But then we can do it. We can come over to Lux. They're always good for a nice little catalyst watch. And here we are, FOMC week right there. 3% from all-time highs. Look at that. And Powell to the rescue. It is Powell's market, man. I will say that. APPS. Aftermarket close today. JPY interest rate. There you go. 20-year treasury, 1 p.m. Eastern. Thank you. See, thank you, Lux, for getting this right. So it is, it's in about 20 minutes right now. Tomorrow, retail sales, 5-year tip. That's about it. Wednesday, not seeing anything other than FOMC. I'm looking for some other catalyst of some sort. Holiday Juneteenth. So we are closed on Thursday. If you're on weekly options, just be very careful. You got to treat them a little bit differently this week. Quarterly OPEX, quad witching Friday. Look at that. So basically we have tomorrow. We've had big moves today. This might be one of those days where it's like the whole week's move happened in a single session. Insane. That's it. Quad witching Friday. Yep. Heather, you are correct. There she is. Right. Market may dip. Yeah, it may dip. So I'm just telling you guys, most people don't know that these auctions don't know which auctions are most important for the market. I'm telling you, just think about the 210 spread. All right. Oh, so 20 years not that big. Jesus. Wow. What a loser. God, 20 years not that big. They think about the 210 spread. What? Wow. I just messed that up for you guys. So it's the 2-year and the 10-year. Goodness. 210 spread. That's the one. So 2-year and the 10-year spread. 2-year and the 10-year auction are the larger. It's Monday, guys. Give me a break. I still love you, though. 20 years, fine. It's long bond. But it's not even TLT. I think TLT is the 30-year plus. So that said, there is one more place that we need to check into, right? I think right. And that is to get our real reading on the week. We should check in with the other T in TA, which stands for what, Chad? The other T in TA stands for tarot. So let's get to it. All right, guys. So this is how I did it. Apologies for a different format. Again, a little rushed, but Miss Cleo's in the house. She never fails. Well, I mean, she fails. Let's be real. Sometimes she fails. But I don't know. Did she get a new deck? I think she got a new deck, you guys. I think she got a new deck because these are a little dark. I don't even know if I've seen these cards before. I think I have. Yeah, normally I'm looking at, oh, Miss Cleo. I think she got a new deck. Maybe she got a bonus. Did one of you guys give her a bonus? Oh no. But I think this is water down here. So the way this works is we get a theme card for the week, and then we get daily cards for each day of the week. I don't know what this is. She's holding. This is the Queen of Cups. I know that there's water down here. I don't know what she's holding, but it looks a little freaky. She's holding something, but that's the Queen of the Cups. I don't know what that means, but we'll find out. And then, all right, I know wands. So today is Monday. Queen of Wands. Wands I know is impulsive. Oh God. I know. I'm just looking at this one. Oh God. You guys don't remember this. I remember this one. She's holding a skull. Is it? K Smiley, I have this set. They're called earth tones. Possibly. Yeah. Tomorrow is the Empress. There's not a lot of numbers here. This is a lot of what do they call this? Major arcana. I don't know what that means, but well, I think it just means big. Major bigs. Major bigs. Yeah. I mean, you guys are already on this. This is Tuesday, the Empress. Listen, guys, I'll just tell you this. It is what it sounds like. It is exactly what it sounds like. It's like spin the wheel, man. Spin the wheel, but it's a big wheel. Yeah, I don't know. But something about to go down for sure. It's a big power card. I'm pretty sure. I mean, we'll see what she's nice. She writes a little note, but I'm pretty sure I remember this as like a major power card that we don't see very often. Like from Rain Man. He loves the Wheel of Fortune. It's a big power card, though, I believe. No card for Thursday, so that's why she's got a little space here. Oh, look. And then we get the Magician. Look at that. I didn't even see it coming. I didn't even see him coming. And then boom, the Magician. So all to say, she had me on edge here at the Wheel of Fortune. And then poof, out of nowhere. It sounds like those headlines, you guys, that I was just reading a little bit ago. Right? I'm just saying. Take your screenshots, do whatever. If you're in the free server, when you jump in the server, I've posted these in the weekly trade plan. In the weekly trade plan, I posted these cards. So you'll have them there. I'm not posting them in the on the Twitters or whatever, but they're there. All right. So the theme card for the week is the Queen of Cups. There's a little thing down here, so I'm gonna have to read it. Sorry, there's like a little screen share, paper gains. Yeah, I don't know. I'll read this. So theme card is the Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups shows up to bring comfort during times of material and emotional stress. Hey, there we are. There, see, she's already doing pretty good. Therefore, she has Therefore, she has bearish tendencies that force most rallies to be sold. First of all, Miss, you start out with making us feel good, and now you're gonna. Therefore, she has bearish tendencies that force most rallies to be sold. You guys, I'm just feeling some iron condors right about now. That's what I'm telling you. And that force most rallies on occasion, especially later in the session or week for this scenario, she'll help us find support and stability. Okay. This means the damage could be mitigated by Friday. Magician. Let's see what the daily cards say and if they confirm this energy. All right. It sounds she is manipulating, yeah. Yeah, Heather, the weekly trade plan. Absolutely. Why wouldn't it be called the weekly trade plan? The Queen, Monday, Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands brings impulsive price action, like all wand cards, usually laying traps in the process. You know, she's following last Friday's 10 of Wands. Oh, yeah. Last Friday was 10 of Wands. Okay. And so then the Queen comes. Is there a King of Wands? Possibly. I don't know. We're not getting a King of Wands tomorrow. That's what I know. Usually laying traps in the process. She's following last Friday's 10 of Wands, suggesting possible continuation. No, we didn't continue Friday. This would mean more downside. Wrong. Confirming the theme card's intent. However, this is how she gets you. However, she has a history of mean reversion. See, this is how she does it. She has a history of mean reversion that when following minor arcana cards in her own suit. Since tens bring tops or bottoms, this further confirms that plan. So maybe Friday and overnight Sunday is a trap, which in fact it was. And so she wrote 2 paragraphs about this. So I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt. And Monday gets a bit of a bounce that wouldn't suggest getting short unless we have a bear flag to sell into. No, we don't. It depends on what you're looking at. I would not suggest getting short unless we have a bear flag to sell into. No, a bear flag means that you gap down today and then rally a little bit. So that's not that. And best case for longs is an attempted bull move that falls flat. Enter Google. I'm looking at attempted bull move that falls flat. Enter Google. Okay. Tuesday. Look for a choppy day here. Another reason not to have traded momentum on Monday. Okay. There's not much to do here, but sit and wait for setups. However, if a trend does emerge, it's unlikely to reverse. Enter who? AMD? What? Enter AMD, right? There's not much to do here, but sit and wait for setups. However, if a trend does emerge, it's unlikely to reverse. Don't Bill and Wood. Yeah, so like we're talking about this. The conflict cabinet possibly could be faded. Short term, I wouldn't really fade the gold. And even if you're looking at fading some oil stuff, I would be very cautious because we do have peak driving season. We can talk about that later. Pick one. Gold, not my favorite. But anyways, so where were we? So Tuesday, choppy day here. Another reason not to have traded momentum on Monday. There's not much to do here, but sit and wait for setups. However, if a trend does emerge, it's unlikely to reverse. So don't fade it. Follow the trend. Okay. Gotcha. Here we go. Big day. Wednesday, Wheel of Fortune. I'm ready. Wednesday, look for a bit of back and forth action, setting the scene for a wild ride. Continuation and trend is likely. So which is it? But whichever side starts the day strong. So you're going to have to know what an opening range is. Meanwhile, if we have a green open, buy the dips. If we have a red day, then sell it. Wow. She's straight up not even saying opening range. Okay, Miss Cleo, trader extraordinaire. Look for, okay. She's just saying go with pre-market. Yeah, right. Yeah. We shall see. Bobby. Oh God. Yeah, I think that's some of these things. Like some of that may have happened already. LL. So that's why I'm worried. What does Zoltar? I don't know. We're talking to him right now. should we change Miss Cleo to Zoltar? I don't hate that. We can call it Zoltar. But anyways, Thursday, Juneteenth, the market is closed. Blah 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 blah. Futures are open for a bit. I don't know if I'd read too much into it. Look, if you read into futures on Sunday, it's you probably freaked out. I don't even look at that stuff, honestly. Friday, that little logo thing is, or name is hiding that. So I will read this. So Friday is called the Magician. The Magician has a bearish bias. And the best case for the Magician has a bearish bias. Okay, so if we're closing towards the highs and the Magician has a bearish bias, and the best. Who would have thought the Magician has a bearish bias? The Magician has bearish bias, and the best case for the bulls is choppy, near flat close. You know what, Miss Cleo, you're probably gonna get renamed Zoltar for this for sure. Look for traps and sleight of hand tricks. Okay, sleight of hand tricks. All right, you trappy. So Miss Cleo is now possibly Zoltar, but calling for trappy price action. There is a difference between trappy and choppy. I will say it's a very distinct difference, just so you know. The difference between trappy and choppy means actually breaking support and or resistance and then coming back into range after breaking it. Choppy, you never really break it, so you don't really get faked out. Trappy, oh no, you get faked out. It's real. So look for traps and sleight of hand tricks. The sentence that's kind of covered here. If he trends, it's usually lower, in which case you can chase momentum or sell rallies. This is typical Zoltar Miss Cleo shenanigans. Look for sleight of hand traps, but yet if it trends, which might be lower, then it's not a trick or a trap. So come on. This is irritating. But it's what the write-up is, so it's what happens. So, don't hate the messenger. If he trends, it's usually lower, in which case you can chase momentum or sell rallies. There you have it. Recap. This week has a lot of negative energy in play that could result in a bad week for the bulls. Thank you, Miss Cleo. The upsides are choppy days and some mean reversion, but early read is not positive. So far, she's not getting it right. So maybe she's wrong. Maybe she's not always right. Maybe she's wrong. You never know. Here's my read on the market, right? If you guys want, go ahead. I am not confusing. Stop that. Here's my read, right? What I know to be true, and if you guys want to drop a couple tickers, have at it. Now is the time. What I know to be true is that I use these things called NFP levels, and they're very crystal clear to me, and they are not confusing. And what's true is that right now, what I use is this first Friday of every month. That's going to set the tone for me. We are very choppy, possibly trappy on the entire month right now. More often than not, this does set the top or the high or the low for the month in general. We're just chopping around it. We have yet to get a full day's open and close trade below that 595 level, which was our NFP area. So until we have a full day's open and close down here, I can say that we are not going down yet, but we're not, on the flip side, we're not really getting clean multiple days closing above either. So we've got so far this is what we have so far is that we have a 1 day open inside, close above. So 1 inside, close above. We have 1 day open above, but close below. We have 2 days. We have another day here, which has been an open below, close above. We have now a neutral day. And now we have a day that's close on. So in all of this scenario, what I'm really looking for is a multiple 1 or 2 days completely outside, meaning like completely over 600.83. In fact, we've yet to get that. If I just did this to regular trading hours, this is what I mean. I have and just daily. We have not yet gotten a single clean candle completely over that 600 spot 83. We've got way more candles closer to being over than we have even close to being below, but we've yet to get a clean one over. So to me, right here, right now, it's still very much choppy. You could even say a bit trappy, but it is to be certain also very unclear to me. So I'm not super willing to call a direction one way or the other here. That is very true because I don't have yet like a clean trade, right? I don't have a clean direction. I do have for sure not fully downside, but for right now, anytime that this 600.83 level fails, I think that this is a clean trade here. And anytime we're over this 600.83 area there, like I know it's going to bounce, but what we do with this and how this works, not essentially, I'll just add some more here. This is like average. You basically go to the next one. And so the next one here is 605.74. See where we stop? This is December area. So this December block, that's where we would go. And that's exactly where we stop. And so this block comes from over here. We just go to the next level. That's how that works. And definitively in between there, I have this kind of neutral area. If we were to lose this line and we got a clean open and close below, where that would take me is 588. That's it. So those are my levels. If I go below that, then I do have these session gaps downside, but not until then. Not until then. So between here and there, I think that we can continue to hit our heads on that 605, potentially wick up, but in this 605 remains that serious overhead congestion, and it might take basically a while to get through. So, I mean, all that to be said is like, hey, look, we've gone sideways for quite a while. We are technically ripe and ready for a run. This is about 30 days of consolidation that we're really breaking through right now. This 597 has been acting as more or less support here. 596. It's a bit of an order block that you can like go straight across on. So again, this is a basic technical level 596. If I have a clean daily open below and break down early, then I know it's a 10-point drop from there. That's it. But until then, I think that this acts as support 596. And until we're really over 605, it's not quite blue skies ahead. So we have a couple levels that we're going to deal with, and we have some geopolitical tensions that are going on in the meantime. So no, I don't think that we are out of the woods by any stretch of the imagination. And that is kind of like my point. So here, still a bit of a struggle bus. 600 spot 83 is going to be, or basically 600. I would just call it 600. And we could easily chop in this kind of box for a while. And it's not going to be until we break out of that box that I would really feel a little bit more comfortable. And so that's my view right now, boys and girls. Okay. Cool. So that's that one. If I look across, Qs are going to be very similar. I'll just do this for you. And I will give you just the one view. QQQ, again, not a full single day, but very similar look. Those levels are 526, 526.80. I would need a full daily close below. Otherwise, we're still chopping at the upside being 530. I need a full day's open and close over 533, essentially. If we can get that, Q's recently has actually been a little bit stronger. I don't have the same overhead type of resistance on the QQQ that I do on SPY. It's just not here, right? It looks similar on the charts, but from my fundamental perspective, these are fundamental levels. It does not actually exist. So if QQQ can get that, and I think that's going to be a little bit more telling, if QQQ can get that full daily open and close, a couple of them, over 533, I think that's going to give you your tell first and foremost. Otherwise, 526 is going to be your level. This got a little bit more defensiveness between it, though. All right. And then the other view is diamonds. I mean, is what it is. I don't know that we're really super into that. Someone mentioned gold earlier. The reason I'm not really into any kind of precious metal shorts is because even if those end up being I think they have their own trajectory. Gold, silver, those are multi-decade breakouts in general. But even with whatever's going on, if the dollar, this is DXY, if the Dixie is still in a downward trajectory, I'm not trying to be short precious metals in general. So I would wait for this to actually come back and show more of a bullish continuation or bounce, if you will. And if I have those kind of things together, fine. But if this is coming down, in the meantime, just know that gold, GLD, is one of the most bullish long-term charts in the market, hands down. Way better than your Palantirs, way better than your Hoods. Multi-decade level breakout. This is not something to toy with. So just know that's what it is. Has nothing to do. It's not a short-term trend. It's a very, very long-term one. So just be very cautious on something like that. Okay, so let's get to your stocks picks. I will scroll up. I'm going to timestamp this. So Eddie with MVO, Oscar, that's where I'm going to call it. And then I'll scroll up a little bit and we will do these. Friday, huge OPEX. I don't know. We shall see. A lot of you guys, couple of requests on Boeing. So what I'll say, Boeing is not, I'm not going to touch Boeing right now. I think there are possible other, so Boeing, Cam, what I'm on. I was long Boeing here. I think this was going to be a spot. Longer term, I'm not going to sell the stock, but this gray box right here, 212s, this was that point of control for this much longer, broader, long-term kind of reversal, upside reversal. It's unfortunate that series of events that happened. It is what it is. I think this is actually turning into another bit of a inside the broadening formation. So I would have to have like another mega dip in here. I don't want to trade this right now, especially if it's underneath this consolidation, right? So for me, it needed to hold well over that 217. I need to see that first the breakout over 217, and then any hold into that 213 area. See this gray box? This gray box tops out, and I'll just make a total horizontal line. 213.21. That happens to be the breakdown area, the biggest breakdown, because when I look left on this chart, once I scroll to the left, it's a huge level. So this breakout here was a big deal. This full day hold above, this little dip holding at 213. Technically, it's a big deal. Actually, this is a very big bounce right here. Had nothing happened. Because when you look back, you're like, oh, huge moment right here, right here, right here. Look at this. Boom. This is like a launch pad area in either direction for Boeing. Launch pad area. So the fact that, unfortunately, and this is oddly how it happens quite often, um, an event happened exactly at this moment. Look, you're not even close to being over that 213. I'm not going to take an upside trade here unless we're well above that now. So no, I don't want to trade in this area. I'm signing off. See you later. Bye for any short-term stuff. Long-term, I'm not going to touch it. My entries are way down here, right? Like, or lower than that, right? So I'm just going to stay the course. There is serious headline risk here, but from a technical perspective, it's not in the clear anymore, right? It had to be well over this area to technically be in the clear. It's not. So hands off at the moment. That's where I am. All right, AMD. It was worth the shot, though. I would take that shot again, by the way. So Xenos. Anyways, I would take that shot again and again and again and again. From a statistical perspective, it just maths out. If you took that shot 10 times in a row, you would make a lot of money. Even if 8 of them fail, or two of them would probably fail. It just so happens that there was bad headlines. Something else out of my control happened. AMD. Do you see this? I mean, do you see that? Like, it's just beautiful. This is not on, like, okay. So here, and we have the breakout. You've just got this one more time. This gray box comes from way over here, even way over here. It's a good chart. So on Twitter, my Twitter. I know my Twitter's turned into some sports book Twitter. I don't know what's going on. I gotta tell you, I don't know what's going on. But so my friends, we have about 10 professional traders in our paid Discord, but I tell you, some of them were short. I love them all to death. They're very good. But they're like short-term short, and I'm like, you know what? I'm kind of unique because I'm usually looking for a lot of 6 to 9 month trades, which most traders don't focus in that area. I have not been an AMD perma bull, but big time broken down trend. If you didn't know, right? We had already broken the resistance for the full year being 2025, right? We were above the 20-day simple moving average, and the 200-week simple moving average, which when I go back to my chart will be the purple line, above the 50-day. We just had to cross the 200-day. We were below the 200-day. And usually when we get into the 200-day, yes, we get smacked right there. So I was already long, but knowingly long, knowing that I could very well get slapped into it. My issue, my thing here, and the reason I didn't mind being long into a 200-day simple, when I say into, I was long into this. I was long into this, and I was okay being long into this and getting smacked, because I didn't have this scar tissue of everybody else trying to long AMD in any of this. I was not trying to long AMD in any of this. This is literally my first attempt here, and that is honestly this gray line here. That's 2025. So when the year started, here's January. I'm just going to draw it across. I'll make this really big. January 2025, support, resistance, resistance, pop back over, support. It ends up being like a perfect support level. I wanted actually 118 to hold. I wanted this little guy to hold. And this was post an event. I wanted 118.45, something like that, 118. I wanted this to hold right here, which was that candle above. But today's open. When I saw today's open, I'm like, boom, retrigger. You're in. Now, that said, we still have some work to do. So I look at this and I'm like, okay, here, all total trend lines. If you connect these two highs, you're now at it. So from here, this break, yeah, that was broken. Now you're here, you're into this area. What I will say is for now, I actually think you have more room, but I think you can get to the 140s for now. Your next goal, just straight up, is going to be 130, and you're going to have it almost the same kind of scenario as before. So when before you have this near term kind of broken downtrend, and you can kind of go sideways for a little bit. Today's the first day you're over that 200-day simple moving average. It can continue. I feel like there are a lot of people out there with existing scar tissue that are like, nah, this thing's gonna fail, blah, 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 blah. I am not one. If it fails on me, I'm still not one that's gonna have a lot of scar tissue. I don't really care because it's like my second shot here. The first one did fail, but I made money on the first one, so I really don't even care. It's not a big shot. It's this is the first longer term shot. These are short term shots, and then longer term shots. So, the fact that this is still going as we speak is not surprising me at all. And if this continues tomorrow, it also would not surprise me at all. If this is then down 10% after two back-to-back 10% days, also not going to surprise me. AMD is really funny like that. So I think that it's going to be a little bit volatile. I think you got more room. I think we get to 140s. I think there's going to be some people that will be like, oh, we need to get it over 125, blah, 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 blah. I don't think that 125 was a thing at all. I think it was this 118. And I think that today's open above after closing at 115, by the way. I think that today's open over 115 or 116 and instantly getting bought was like a huge sign. And it could come back down. It's very possible. But any dips, I think, are going to be buyable from here. We did create a pretty massive, what we call fair value in here. But today, I would not fade this. I think you let this go for a couple days. I think you see 130s probably tomorrow. And I think that instead of looking over there, you could probably look over here and say it might be before that 127 fills, you might fill this up to 140 before you fill that lower one. Legitimately, I think you might fill this before you fill that because this is so wound up with probably so much hatred out there, to be fair. Like I honestly could see that happening and then this kind of a retest later. That makes perfect sense. So All that said, this is a wild one. If you're gonna trade it, you gotta somehow understand that volatility is a serious thing, and you have to de-risk that volatility. At the end of the day, the trend count here, this was a higher high, so I was never concerned. This was always a higher low. This is still a higher low. Does that make sense? And now this is yet another higher high. So I am definitely not concerned. Anything else, even down to here, is going to be a higher low yet again. So no, even if this loses the 200-day simple moving average, it's still a long. End of story. Right. The long is to what? So what we would do here is we would go here. And honestly, you're going to measure this. So this swing, this whole swing. And where I'm getting, you're going to get to 140 first. You could get to 150, sure. This is a very long 175. Somewhere in this whole area up here, 150 to 170. I think 170 is very realistic. 9 months, 6 to 9 months, maybe. All right. Palantir. Is it 150 today yet? No, that's where it's going. All right. So it's going to be 150. Essentially what you're looking at, what the trajectory looks like, not really sure. It's probably going to be in anticipation of earnings. Right now, weekly count. So what this is, it's already been measured. It's already been planned out. You have this box here, and you're just kind of replicating it. Here's your consolidation. You're well on your way. If I duplicate this, that's like way out there. I think the 50% mark of that is going to be about 150. I'm not going to call it that you're really going to go over there. But from a weekly perspective, just week to week perspective, right now, you have you must hold essentially last week's high. So last week's high, and you opened today completely above, right? Today you opened completely above 140, which happens to be last week's high. So for now, what you could expect is that you could expect at least for this week. Oh my God. To look a little something like this, probably 147, maybe into 150, and then stretch it into, and then stretch it into 158s, possibly 160s. But not much more than that. I think you're 148s. If you lose 140 at any point in time on Palantir, you're going to come back halfway into last week's range. Halfway to last week's range is somewhere between 132 to 130. So that's your dip buy. About 130, 132 to 130. It's going to line up with about your 20-day simple moving average on Palantir. All right, ASTS. Not quite. Almost. You're on it. So this is a weekly. So you're over this. This is a weekly. I say not quite because this is last week's $40 spot 92 cents. You need that really, and that's yesterday's Friday's high. You need a clean candle over that. So no, not quite ready. It's gearing up. You don't want to lose that though. So if you get a close below 39, you're gonna retrace probably to 29. That's a big retrace. Is that right? It is right. You'll go 36 and a half first. You'll go to 35 and a half first. If you lose 39, you will go to 35 and a half first. If you lose 35 and a half, you're going to 32. This is playing with fire, sir. Or ma'am. I don't know. What's the market cap here? You need Momo and you need headlines. Yeah, I mean 29s would be a nice dip, but you're not catching the Momo. We call this 3 white soldiers. 1, 2, 3. You are not extending yet. You looked good this morning. You're failing to. You're not looking good here. You didn't even look good this morning, actually. This is not like I don't like this. We call this a look above and fail. We call the look here a look above and fail. Look above means like here's Friday's candle. You're looking above, but if you come back down, which this is looking like, this is a fail. This $39 area is the all-time high. So you really don't want that to be a look above and fail all time. That's why it would be concerning. You lose 39, I would hedge this. For sure. For sure, I would hedge this. Love you, Matt. But those are your levels. Is what it is. Florina SPX. I cannot do SPX. I would do SPX, but it's too short time frame. It's going to be like minutes to minutes, hours to hours. We did SPY. J Roy. MSTR. Consolidating inside the levels is a no touch. Definitively, it's a no touch because you're in this box. So here's your. They bought a bunch of Bitcoin again, and again. You really need over this 390. Anything here now is more anticipating instead of reacting. Is not a short. It's not breaking down, but it's in between these two SMAs. So it's winding up. You got some serious consolidation going down here. So just you gotta wait. You gotta wait for the break. Tried, failed. That's a failed breakout. It's not a breakdown either. It's serious consolidation. Real tight, man. Just put it on the watch, no action. If you take action, you're just going to burn, decay. Apple, I like Apple a lot, but I can't deny this is definitively a downtrend still. It's in the trade location is good. When this changes, oh, is this changing? Stop that. It's a new week. I almost ate my words here. It's a new week. Okay, so this is what we call like time frame continuity. So hour green, day green, week green, month red. Inside month though. Huh. So the quarter on. I know the quarter's red. Quarter's red. What was the year? Year's gotta be red. Inside year. It's tight. These yellow lines quarter. Month. So it's inside month, which means that 193 is going to be the lows. Over 208. So 208 is the big deal. 208 is the big deal. No doubt. This is massive consolidation. Nobody likes this stock. I'll tell you that much. Nobody likes this stock. Underperformance of Apple what makes this really interesting is that it doesn't usually last that long. It really doesn't, man. Really, really doesn't. We are just getting tighter and tighter and tighter. It's not going down. This is one where I think you can sell puts, but or call calendar spreads. I think this is primed for some calendar spreads. Maybe even directional calendar spreads. You want to be just straight up calls, you got to keep watching this. This is getting wound. But if you go calls, your counter trend, it's not an uptrend yet. It's not an uptrend. It's going to be. I did not reopen this yet. I want it, but I would be anticipating for sure. I want it. But I don't think it's bad to buy this. I think you would buy the stock all day. It's just a question of how long you're going to wait for this to reclaim an uptrend. I can wait forever on equity. I cannot wait forever on options. No, I cannot. I cannot wait 6 months on an option. I cannot wait 20 days on an option. I don't care how long your option is. It's not fun. It's opportunity cost. Unless you have some kind of volatility hedging, premium accumulating pain, something that's going to pay you to hold. Daily is going to trigger. So today it's about to trigger intraday, but we have earnings when? 23rd of July. Again, if I was trading off the calendar, I would normally be in this now. And I was in this just a little bit ago. I just don't know if I can trust the calendar this year. I like it a lot. And for sure, by the way, if this is over 208, screw the haters. It's 250 if it's over 208. If it's over 208, boys and girls, I'm just telling you, Apple's 250 if it holds 208. It's not even 220. So there's that. If it's over 208, Apple's back in an uptrend, and it is to 250. So you can wait or you can guess. UNH, it's it had dividends. So we talked about this in the server. You should have expected. If you're active in the chat, I said this. I think that Friday was we call a divvy bounce. So ex-dividend date was today, Monday. You should have expected a bit of a pullback. I think all of this Thursday and this Thursday pump, even Wednesday. I think Wednesday, Thursday, this is your dividend, people. Pulling out Friday, Monday, I think you just chill out. It's like a $3 dividend. And I think you go straight up sideways. I don't think this goes anywhere anytime soon. I think if you're in UNH, this is the last time I will chart UNH. I think that it just has a massive amount of risk. I think that if there was large investor appetite here, we would see it in the charts already. Yes, it's over the 20-day simple moving average. No, it's not going anywhere. It's not going up unless it's over. Mark this down, 326. So unless UNH is over 326, like full days over, it's not going higher. It's just not, right? It's not going lower either. It's just stuck. It's going sideways. I don't think we're just seeing enough investor appetite here because new CEO is here. there is real risk of them uncovering some other skeletons, or honestly pulling the dividend. So I think that's real. I think that you could give a dividend pull. If you get a dividend pulled on UNH, yeah, 200s, deep 200s next day. Because it's just another thing that's like, oh, who knows, right? All right, Amazon. Almost not quite. If you like Miss Cleo, this is one where Miss Cleo would say, don't press this. For real. I would not. Are you thinking short? Maybe he's thinking short. I would walk away from Amazon. Right? I would not press this bet right now. I like it longer term, but not for this week. This week, I think you're gonna hold sideways for a bit. This looks choppy. I mean, well, unless you're over 217. Like if you want to anticipate it, go ahead. But again, my job, our job, if you're going to be an active trader, this is what a bad trader trades. Like this is a if you're going to be an active trader and you want to be bad at trading, you take this long here now. Because this is really bad risk reward. You have to wait for a trigger because you could get easily slapped. Like you could get slapped. You want to see a breakthrough. And so this box, you got to get through it. Otherwise, you have to assume that this breakdown level, see where that broke down right here? He's probably thinking short, my guess. See this breakdown? So like that's big time here. Where this was support before, it was resistance here. All we're doing right now, we have confirmed that it's resistance this morning. So you're confirming resistance right now. What you have to have is that you have to have a breakthrough and hold. And then you can just go back up to this. But even at this point, then you have to be really cautious of like this. And then this becomes the trade. Just that little blip, right? Just that little blip becomes the trade. Only here to here. That's it, right? And then it's possible that this only becomes the trade. But only these two areas become the trade. As a trader, your job is to take money, just extract some dollars from the market from existing moves that are already happening. These are the moves that are already happening in the market. Your job is not to anticipate massive moves, right? That's not your job, right? Your job is just to make money from small existing moves that are already happening. If you're trying to take like big stuff, I don't know if you are or not, you as in like, I'm just generally speaking, that's not your job, right? That move only happens when you're over here, right? So unless you're already seeing Amazon do a little something like this, cool, that's fine. But that's not how that works. And it definitely doesn't start out like this. Hell no, that's not how that works, right? It does not start out like that. The opposite starts out like that. You could do this, but how that works, how that starts out is like, okay, you would start out like this, then it's 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 like this. Each one of those is a little blip, right? But that trade is not in the clear until it's like this. And at any point, all of this, you would be putting yourself at risk for a little gulag shot like this, taking that long like this, or what could literally possibly be happening as we speak like this. So no, I don't want to, not here, not now. Make sense? Probably makes sense after putting that, but it's possible. I just can't anticipate it here now. Bad spot, unless you're thinking short. then it's a watch. Still, it's not a, it's a watch. Don't anticipate, just watch. TSLA. Interesting. 330's got to go. Gotta go. Not going, not ready. So 337 target acquired also, by the way, on this one. So we were here, right? 337 was it's achieved 336.03. We planned this out. Why is that the target? So that was this whole thing right here. What's this yellow line on my chart? This was that swing high, swing low for the entire thing. You already got this 50%. Now, what that was that breakout. So we were already breaking down. So a big consolidation, look above. Remember what I was talking about? This look above and fail ASTS. ASTS, this is a look above and fail. Cautious, right? Where you fail from, though, is an important spot. And so now we have retested that failure point. We failed again, but we did put a higher low. That's great. Do I want to take this here now? No. This is just like Amazon, right? No. Not how we do that. Even if I'm a little bit higher, do I want to take that? No. Right? Because why? I have this whole deal right here to deal with. So this is the danger zone. I'm not trying to play here. My job is to take the easy money from the market. The easy money from the market was here. Did I take that? Yeah. I even took a little bit. Did I take that? I don't even know if I took that. I might have been in for the ride on that, but not the big one, right? I took this for sure. That's the easy money. I'm not trying to make my job harder than it needs to be, right? No. So wait and see. All right, Mita. Looking better, looking easier. Almost. Not easy money though. Tell you that much. Nope. Better. Interesting. For sure. That's not easy money, man. Tell you what. Really not trying to do this. No. You could trade in the box if you want, but I got no interest in it. Not unless you're up, down, above, right? Will it chug along? For sure. But there will be a big point in this chart when it gets there. Over this white box, this becomes like real easy money. And that's going to be when you get through it, you're going to have this 616 to 607. So over 607, for sure, you're going to have like a whoosh right into 616. But you see how you hit your head right there? That's like that's like the opposite of what we're talking about. So like I need to see that clear. Not yet. And then I'm not talking about all-time highs yet. Then you're going to have another one that's going to be up to here, right? So that is 617. So you're going to hit your head again. And then when you get into there, 617 to 630, that's another whoosh, easy money trade. But I need to see it get up there, hold, and then have some investor like sentiment, something that pushes it through for sure. SOFI, you got one here, J. Roy. I'll tell you what. This one over the box. So this is better, easier money for sure. And I think you could take this a long time. So this was setting up pretty bearish possibility failure here. Similar to Boeing, it's almost similar to Boeing. I don't think you do this near term. I think you go ahead and do this longer term. You're very close. I think you do get to that 15, 16 bucks near term. I don't think you do this short term. You do have a higher high on this trend count. You do have another higher low here. You do have earnings coming August, but I think you got to go leapers. I think you have to do a spread of some sort. I think you go Jan 26, $15, $20 call debit spreads. I think that's how you trade this. Or you just look for a 30% return on equity. I don't think you do anything else here. All right, MSTR, MSCI, SMCI. And then I think I'm going to call it 3 closes. Yeah, it's a rule, but I need to have This is the 4th. So now we're on the 4th. We could get there. It's much better. SMCI. Almost. It's definitely more bullish than bearish. I just don't like this ticker. It's not that I don't like this ticker. I don't like this company. I don't like the ticker. I'm biased. I'm so biased. It looks squeezy, though. It looks squeezy. You just need to get over this. What is this? 44.34. It's a 44.30, 44.30, 44.30, 44.30. Then you rock it. Yeah, okay, so 44.30 to 48. And then I think you rock it to 48. 48 is the scene of the crime. Okay, so you got $8 or you got $4. I don't know what would happen to SMCI if you got back to 48. I don't know. I don't know if it deserves to get to 48 either. It could get stuck. There's some really funky stuff going on with SMCI because it got pulled out of the NASDAQ. The chart looks good. The technicals look good. The technicals look like 48. Technicals look like 48. Biases aside. It's trying, but it needs that full close, multiple closes over. And I think somebody was asking about the multiple closes over. So how many closes? I think we got 3 closes over. We did get 1, 2, 3. And so we did get 3 closes over. This would be our, if we close over, this would be our 4th. Which looks like it's going to be. And that those 3, 1, 2, 3 closes over may have been it. And we just continue on from here. So that might have been it. If I stick hard with the rule set, Manuel would be accurate here in that case because 1, 2, 3 closes over NFP high from that perspective. I'm just like very hesitant to call it personally, but that's a personal thing. Technically, 1, 2. No. 1, 2. So this is 2 closes. So this today would be the 3rd. Today would be the 3rd. So 1 close, 2 close. Today would be the 3rd. So then the dips after that. The dips after today, assuming that we close over 600. If we close over 600. But I mean, all of that is to say, like, we don't have anything that's like anything close to being down here. So as close to the lows as possible in general. But I still like, we got a lot of stuff going on. Technically, yeah, it's there. It's there. It just doesn't have Momo. So I don't know. And we have very tight levels above us, which we've already hit. So technically we hit that. Remember that the levels above us would be here. I think you're talking about SPY. I think you're talking about that. Maybe you weren't. Then I saw a couple hymns. Duh. Did you get it? Looks like you might have gotten it. Did the battle finish? Did you guys win the battle between the Bulls and the Bears? The battle, it looks like you did. It looks like the Bulls won. The Bulls and Bears were battling between hymns right in here. And it looks like today, this moment, The bulls won. Such a squeezy stock. It looks like they're winning. If you want to really win, it's over 66, and then you would be to what? Then you would be to on this press 76. This is your consolidation. 96. Can't say that for sure though. No, man, it's 3. It is 3. It would be at the close. It would be at the close. And NVO, OSCR. Those are the last two. NVO. So I think this was all that. So this was, let's check out Lilly. It's a little pullback on Lilly. I think a lot of these guys got extra love on the McDonald's double downgrade. So these look like right into the 200-day, similar to that. Purple line is the 200 week. So similar to like the AMD stuff is like, no, I don't think it's over. It's just like a blip on this chart. So this, I say, definitely constructive. I mean, this is something I'm like, if this were to get shellacked on, like, you know, I don't know. Okay, so definitely big time downtrend is broken. So a little bit harder because of the sector, and you got to know like schedules and stuff like that. Not schedules, pipelines, which I do not. If they have other stuff coming. You're below this area. I mean, this is interesting. Activist investors in here. I don't know where that breakout was from. I mean, you see 70 again on this stock, you kind of have to try. 70 even, that's another 10% though. But like, what are you trying for? Let's say here to here. Or over, if you're over the 200 week, that's 83. Yeah, you are going to get another $10 quickly. I think you just ran into resistance. This could chop again as close to 70 as you can. I think that's worth a shot, as close to 70 as you can. That's not a short-term play, though. That is not a short-term play. Yeah, I'm going to stick with that. As close to 70 as you can. You have broken the downtrend. You have made a higher high on this trend count because this is your last lower high. Lower high, lower high, lower high. Broken, down, down, right? So first change. First. This can be a long time in the process. So I don't think you have to be in any rush. Now you have to see. This is like AMD, man. This is like AMD. This is something that you could plan to watch for months. And it might be one of the bigger trades that you'll have out there, but you don't have to be in a rush to be here, right? So higher low. And then you're really honest to God, not even out of the woods yet. You're going to need another one of these, and then you're going to need another one of these, and then you're going to need another one of those to confirm. And so, like I said, it's going to have to be like that here, and then probably this is going to be at 76, And it won't be until you get that third, like, higher high that you're going to be like, okay, now I'm out of the woods. So even if you take a shot on this next higher low, which could be as low as 70, quite frankly, you're not out of the woods yet. Would be a little something like that. It could be anywhere up here. Honestly, you're still not out of the woods, because what could happen here is that you could lock a lower high like that, and then you could be right back where you were, right? So if you snipe something down here like that, like, that's what you really need to be cautious about. So, like, when I say, like, if you want to just put this on the radar for long term, it might take months for this to play out. And, like, someone like me, like, I might just put this on my radar here now, and I might just sit and watch, and you might see it at 85. And if I really like it, which I might grab it here. But I need to really say definitively for me, all right, yeah, I'm out of the weeds, and there's no shot at this having been a potential, like, I don't want to get my face slapped kind of moment. And it might not be till after earnings, you don't know, because that's possible. So while this looks good, real talk, that's what you need for confirmation. It's not just one. Okay. Healthcare is tricky, dude. But in general, this setup is the deal. OSCR. It's sideways. It looks good, constructive, just around $14, just under $14. That's your level, right? So sentiment is still here. Interest is very much still here. It really needs to get over the 18, right? So over 18, 1760, 1758. She's gonna skyrocket. Looks like you got some earnings. I don't know a whole lot about this, but I know if you like Oscar, then you should like it long time. It's just this would be a long-term kind of like super lotto hold, like a HIMS type company. Not a lot of technicals to be done here, actually, at all. I wouldn't chart Oscar. It's not that kind of a company here. But AMD ripping. You know why? Oh, it's already been ripping. That's not ripping. Anyways. All right, guys. That's it for now. I believe we have Technical Tuesday tomorrow. We shall see. Just be careful. It's a short week. Juneteenth on Thursday. FOMC on Wednesday. Man, oh man. Always jam-packed. But that's it for me today, guys. I love y'all. We got some sports stuff going on in the server for sure. Big game. Is it tonight? I don't know. Might be tonight. If you're not there in the server, check out the link. It's free. We opened up some stuff for you guys. And until next time, I'll see you out there. Adios. Peace.